I'm so cringy. You're gonna see a lot of cringy things on this channel if you continue to watch. So stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be very ranty because I don't have a script. I don't exactly know what I'm going to talk about. I mean, I know what I'm going to talk about, but I don't know what I'm going to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to be all over the place for my first video. That's probably not a good idea, but we're just going to get into it. So I have been rewatching the Vampire Diaries. And shoot, I didn't even mention that I'm going to be doing skincare in this video. I'm going to tell you what type of products so you can generally use the same thing if you choose to. This is just something to do so I'm not just like sitting here talking to a camera. First, I'm going to use some it's like clarifying water, micellar water, to just clear off some of the eyeliner that I was already wearing for work today. So I'm going to start off with that. But I have been rewatching Vampire Diaries. Now, I started watching Vampire Diaries probably around season 3. I'm gonna have to look that back up and I'll insert it in the video once I learn how to do that. And like when I was a teenager, and I was kind of obsessed with it for a second, but I started rewatching it because I never finished it. I know it ended, I believe, in 2019. So I just finished the first season, so that's what I'm going to capture. I think I might do a series on this, like season by season. So, stay tuned. I'm going to start using a clay mask. But first person I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite characters in the entire show. And that is Stefan Salvatore. He is one of my favorite characters. One, because he has a lot of character development. He has a lot of character regression. He goes through a lot of phases. He's very emotional. I am literally blind without my glasses, so I am going to be looking into the camera quite a lot and looking you straight in your eyes, so I hope that's okay. One thing I noticed by rewatching this series is that Stefan is a pathological liar. He lies to himself, he lies to his girlfriend Elena, he lies to his brother, which I can understand you lying to family. Family is always in your freaking business, and they're always inserting themselves in places they have no business being in. Anyway, so Stefan is a pathological liar, constantly. And why Elena trusts him, that is Stefan has so many red flags that I have no clue, not even in the slightest, because she's not being compelled, no mind control. This is how some women be. Sees all these red flags. He's a pathological liar. He purposefully lashes out to push you away from him. He goes behind your back, very sneaky. He doesn't tell you things about his life that are very important, like he has a brother. And then on top of that, he drinks blood. Like, ew. I feel like Elena keeps trying to look for humanity in these horrible creatures. You know, they're not human. They look like humans. They're not. But anyway, Stefan is literally crazy, and he's controlling, and he is kind of a good, like, he definitely is kind of a good person, but like he does so many terrible things, especially in the beginning of the show, that I just don't even understand why Elena did not run. You didn't even have to tell me that it didn't even have to get to the point where we realized he was a vampire for me to head for the hills, to be honest with you. There is so many, I don't understand this whole like, oh my gosh, he's dark and mysterious. type of vibe where people are in love with that and they're like, that's kind of their thing. Maybe that's just who she is. It's kind of her thing. I don't even know if I'm getting all this on my face because I literally cannot see. I just see colors and shapes. This is more about Elena than it is about Stefan, now that I'm realizing this. So let's move on to Elena's character. Elena is the most annoying human on this planet. And the more I watched Vampire Diaries, the more I began to dislike her. But now rewatching it, I am kind of appreciating her character. I found myself rooting for her a couple of times. When she was fighting the guy who was stalking her, who was working for Anna and Pearl, when she was fighting him with those pencils, although it seemed a little bit stupid, I mean, they tried to make it make sense because pencils are wood and wood hurts vampires when you stab them, but like, and this guy is as old as Damon and Stefan and he drinks human blood. There is no reason why he is being taken down by someone who's barely 100 pounds and with pencils, no less. But I found myself rooting for her because, you know, she was giving herself a fighting chance. She was proving that she is worth our time, at least a little bit. And are we not going to talk about, I just watched an episode not too long ago where it is revealed that Stefan killed his dad, and we're just going to glaze over the fact that he killed his dad, and Elena is still not bothered. Like, there is no red flag that Elena is not willing to, I guess once you get past the whole I'm a vampire who drinks blood thing, everything else is just explainable, you know. But he killed his own father. I mean, to be fair, his father did kill him, but like, still? And the fact that Elena was just like, I need to hear these things. What? Damon is so unnecessarily complicated for multiple of reasons. They push the boundaries with Damon, I guess to make him the antagonist in the beginning, because he is the antagonist of the protagonist relationship. He is so past redeemable. I mean, he gets people killed. He causes rifts between people. He is a drama starter constantly. Damon is mad at Stefan for all the wrong reasons. Like, he told Stefan he's not mad at him because he encouraged him to turn into a vampire. He's mad at him because Catherine turned Stefan and Damon was supposed to be the only one. So basically, you're mad at your brother for existing. Okay. Honestly, the fact that Elena and Damon end up together makes perfect sense to me because Damon's an idiot. He oversteps his boundaries so many times, yet they want to make him likable. When he goes to apologize to Jeremy for what he did to Vicky and the fact that he felt bad that he watched Anna die, so like, that just seems so out of character. Like, is he this horrible human being who turns off his feelings and emotions? Or is he this tortured individual who turns off his feelings and emotions sometimes, but can still be human or still have some sense of humanity? Which one is it? But I'm gonna go wash this off my face. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I am back. The next part of my skincare is a scrub. It's like to just exfoliate on my dead skin, and it also helps get whatever clay was left on my face by that mask I just put on. But it makes my face feel really soft. I need my face kind of wet for this, so I got my damp towel here. It probably helps that I'm this close to the camera and that, oh, I'm probably not gonna like that in the long run that I'm this close to the camera, but probably gonna help. I don't know. This isn't really for educational purposes. This is really because I really wanted something to do while I'm doing this video, and I wanted to talk about the Vampire Diaries, so this really isn't for education purposes. So I don't know who this is helping. Now I'm gonna move on to Jeremy. I think they tried really hard to make Jeremy interesting. He is the most involved yet boring character. I found myself really skipping through a lot of his scenes because I was just like, get to the point, please get to the point. Because until Jeremy gets with Bonnie eventually, which I know happens, I really don't care about him. He was bearable at the beginning of the season because he was this emo kid who was just like, oh my gosh, my parents are dead, that freaking sucks, I hate life. I think because his parents are gone and passed away, R.I.P. to them, he is constantly looking to blame Elena for that hurt and that loss. Sometimes it's Jenna. And we're gonna get into her character in a little bit, but he is very annoying. I can understand and sympathize with his plight to an extent, but at some point you have to realize that the world doesn't stop turning because you exist. Because something's bad is happening to you, the world still moves on. And Elena tries to explain this to him in a much more gentle way. And then he just throws it back in her face because she journals like a healthy person and spends time actually grieving her parents instead of doing drugs. If there was a textbook for grieving, it would be what Elena does. She's just sad. Which makes perfect sense. I'm gonna be back again. Okay, I'm back. So, I remember what I was saying. Jeremy. So you better remember that. It was from iCarly. Does anybody remember that kid from iCarly who was sneezing all the time and called him Jeremy? Oh, who is watching that series on Paramount? Because I'm not. That commercial for iCarly looks extremely weird. When I first saw that, I was just kind of like, why? First of all, Sam, Jeanette McCurdy is not there, so Sam is one of the things that made the show. If Jeanette McCurdy was there, I would probably watch it. I'm going to be using it's called a reawakening mask, but it's just like a peel mask. Yeah, Jeremy just becomes a lot more annoying throughout the whole entire series. Also, he tries to be too much. Instead of being like the obvious nerd he is, he kind of tries to be like a off-brand Stefan. Like, brooding, lonely, dark character. And also, he falls in love way too easily with random people he does not know. And then after he finds out that she tries to drag him to feed him to her mother, not only does he still keep her in his life, he's like, I care about you. And he has sex with her. Okay. I have no clue what these people are drinking, but can you keep it far away from me? These people have taken so many idiot pills. It is amazing. Does anybody else hate their profile shot? Like, this looks nothing like the front of my face. I look like a whole different individual. It's disgusting. But anyway, that's enough on that. Jenna is the worst guardian of all time. They were smart about this, right? They wanted to have as much leeway, I suppose, with the characters as possible. You know, why they can go off and do these crazy things and go on these crazy adventures and hide all these secrets. So, and also kind of give a backstory. So they made Jenna into this like, oh, I'm fun aunt turned parent. So like I'm not good with kids, and so I let them walk all over me and talk to me any type of way. Let them be very disrespectful. Basically allow them to raise themselves, and it's perfectly fine. Like that's pretty much Jenna's character. She's really boring. There's really nothing else to really say about her, really. So let's move on. I'm going to move on to Matt. I don't know why he's painted as this like sweet guy. Matt is so disrespectful. He treats Caroline like absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. He could care less about Caroline. He looked Tyler in the face and said, I think I'm going to break up with her. She's too clingy. Then when Caroline came over, apologized and everything without even knowing this information, right? And she's just like, I don't want to mess this up. He goes, I don't want to mess this up either. That was the fakest shit I had ever seen in my whole entire life. That man is a snake, and I do not trust him. And I cannot wait till they break up. There was a whole scene where Stefan had this old sports car because Stefan is extremely old. He's 100 and something years old, yet he's dating someone who is fresh out the womb, apparently. So Caroline says, I don't like sports cars. They're not very good for making out in. And Matt has his ex-girlfriend there, who is Elena. And mind you, they had just had a conversation about how Elena's dad has this old sports car and whatever. And Matt says, wasn't that bad? Alluding to the fact that he used to make out with Elena in the sports car, knowing that Caroline is already extremely insecure and has doubts about Matt wanting to be with her, which is not unfounded, by the way. And he goes and he says something like that, and then he doesn't even apologize. He just gives this really dumb speech about how she's the only one he wants to be in the car with at the moment, and he doesn't know what that means, and all this other like bull. Like, that's just, he is not a good person. He is a bad person pretending to be a good person. So I'm gonna move on to Caroline. Caroline is probably my favorite character of all time in the entire series. She has the most character development. She's just really awesome. She is pretty much everything they paint her to be. She's shallow, she's ignorant, she's annoying, she's insecure, she says stupid things. With her boyfriend treating her like second place, her best friends more close to each other than to her, her parents a mess. You know, her friends always leaving her out of things. You do start to feel really bad. I'm excited to see the person she becomes. So next is Kat. Bonnie is definitely a strong, amazing character, but it is completely overshadowed and distracting when you see her wig. The hairline. Oh my gosh. The more the seasons go on, I believe the worse her wig gets. Every single girl on the show has their makeup together, has their hair together, has their wardrobe together, you know. But for some reason, when it came to Bonnie, they just ran out of tips and tricks. It was rough. It was a rough watch. Oh my goodness. You would think professionals would know better. What are some other characters? I don't even want to. Some of these characters are so irrelevant. I don't even want to touch on them. John, he's gone. He deserves to get his fingers cut off. I'm glad he's gone. He's pretty annoying. It was really annoying for him to be so disgusted by vampires, but then to be working with vampires. I'm glad we're getting introduced to Catherine, because I like Catherine way more than I like Elena. At least I did the times that I watched it before. Any other things? Tyler. Oh my gosh. We're finding out that Tyler's a werewolf. I forgot. I kind of skipped through that part because I really don't care about it. The next episode of this series will be a lot better, just because I just had this idea to do this now, and it's like almost 12 o'clock at night, and I didn't want to rewatch the season to take notes because I'm definitely not doing that. So I just kind of wanted to get that out just so I could start off with the first season, talking about the first season. I don't know, maybe you guys should stick around to watch this peeling. Some people might want to watch this. Yeah, thank you for sitting through this whole entire rant. If you want to subscribe to watch the next episode of the series, feel free. If you don't.